Vegans have a survival reflex that gets triggered anytime they see bacon. Due to their unique brain chemistry, their species thinks bacon's deadly.
Welcome once again to Keto Mojo Go-Go. We want you to know that it is our mission to break these things down into very simple points, right? So we've created this video to put the ketogenic diet into the most simple terms. Now we know that you can Google what a ketogenic diet is, and you'll see a paragraph, but what you'll also see, if depending on what source you get, there may be some unconscious bias. You'll see words like not normal and mimic starvation, which definitely may not be factual exactly, or they're loaded words, right? And sometimes I think they're an attempt to marginalize the ketogenic diet. So we just want to stick with the facts, and that's what this is going to be. And this is going to be the first in the series of what's called Keto 101. So this will be the first in that series, and we'll be having a playlist for that.
So here we go. We're going to try to break the diet down into its simplest components for you. Quite simply, without any bias or any unsubstantiated claims, the ketogenic diet is a high-fat, adequate protein, extremely low carbohydrate diet that allows the body to enter the metabolic state of ketosis, which results in the liver burning the fats for fuel instead of carbohydrates once all the liver glycogen is depleted.
In this video, we will not be discussing any claims, benefits, or pitfalls of the ketogenic diet. Only the elements that make up the ketogenic diet, including primarily what to eat, what to moderately consume, and what to avoid completely. The reason we think that this is important is that we have seen a few I tried keto videos in which people were misinformed about the diet. They may have gone strictly low carb without the high fat or misunderstood exactly what they should be eating. Then they are surprised when they fail. This video will also be dedicated to the basic ketogenic diet. There are more advanced versions that are specialized for athletic performance or building muscle.
An important element of the ketogenic diet is that the macronutrient ratios are keenly important. There is little variation between keto dieters regarding the macros, but generally calories from fat will make up about 75% of your daily calories. Protein calories make up around 20%, and carbohydrates will make up no more than 5%. While some of these percentages will vary somewhat, one universal among keto dieters is that carbohydrate consumption should be under 50 grams per day, regardless of the macros. Of course, everyone is different depending on how insulin resistant they are, so some people may require to be under 20 grams of carbs per day to stay in ketosis.
Calorie intake will also vary depending on the goals of your diet. If you wish to lose weight, you will need to maintain a calorie deficit as you would with any other regulated lifestyle. However, you may find that calorie counting is not quite the rigorous chore that it is with other diets. On a side note, if you are just beginning a ketogenic diet, it is not recommended that you count calories, but eat until you are full of fat. This will allow your body to adjust to the new metabolic state and reduce cravings. Ironically, it does get easier to count calories, and eventually making sure that you get enough calories may actually be the issue.
So what exactly do you eat on a ketogenic diet? Some have characterized incorrectly the ketogenic diet as a low-carb diet. The important distinction is that it is a high-fat, low-carb diet. Once again, just going low-carb will not provide the feeling of fullness needed to be successful on this dietary choice. So let's start with those fats.
As we said, fats should make up about 75% of your calories. Many people will look at you strange if you said that you need to eat the bulk of your calories using butter, cheese, heavy cream, mayonnaise, and coconut oil. A short time ago, I would have as well. But what most people do not realize is that these saturated fats are quite calorie dense. Butter and mayonnaise each have about 100 calories for a single tablespoon. An ounce of bacon fat has about 250 calories. So it's not just about consuming globs of fat. You can cook your foods in these oils to up those fat calories. In future videos, we will show you some tools and recipes on how to make sure you get your fat calories fairly effortlessly. Now moving on to protein. Protein should consume about 20% of your calories. Now, one of the incorrect criticisms of the ketogenic diet is the risk of high protein causing kidney damage. However, if 75% of your daily calories are coming from fat, it is physically impossible to overconsume protein. For example, it is not recommended to consume more than 125 grams of protein a day for a man of 140 pounds. I weigh considerably more than that, and my protein macro goal is 92 grams, which is well below the maximum for a much smaller framed man. The best way to maintain your overall macros is to choose fatty meats such as ground beef, ribeye steaks, bacon, sausage, and fatty fishes like salmon, mackerel, or sardines. Eggs are also highly recommended for their high protein, high fat, and low carb profile.
Carbs, 5% of calories. It would be false to say that carbs are forbidden on a ketogenic diet. In my opinion, they play an important role, as the right carbs are very low in calories and also quite nutrient dense. By these carbs, I mean vegetables, of course. Processed carbs have zero nutritional contribution and should be completely excluded. While no vegetable is disallowed on a ketogenic diet, the real issue is math. For example, my daily carb goal is 23 grams. One medium potato has 37 grams of carbs. That one potato is almost double my daily macro goal. Sure, I could eat half a potato, but then I would be in danger of going over my goal with incidental carbs. Besides, have you ever tried to eat just a little potato? Lay's potato chips hasn't had an advertisement a few years ago. I bet you can't eat just one. So the recommended carbs are the above ground veggies for the most part. Broccoli, cauliflower, kale, and summer squashes are all very low in carbs and packed with nutrients. It is very common to use zucchini or cauliflower as a potato proxy or a replacement. You can find plenty of recipes for keto-friendly zucchini fries or mashed cauliflower, one of my favorites. I would say that most people go through this process of finding potato and or rice replacements. It is quite normal. Besides, creativity can be fun. Have fun in the kitchen.
Now let's talk about the foods that we should be consuming less of. Now these foods are still nutritionally important, but unfortunately they are not devoid of carbs. So it's kind of a math problem, having to kind of cut down on the portion sizes in order to be able to consume these, but they are important. But one of the first ones is the higher carb dairy. Now it's kind of optional, but Greek yogurt and whole milk may provide some key nutrients and even probiotic properties. Now I know in my case that I like Greek yogurt, but I usually like it with fruit, which immediately would take me beyond my carb macros. So it's a no-go for me. I have also opted for nut milks instead of regular milk for similar reasons. So dairy really is optional, and a lot of keto dieters exclude dairy altogether, also just because of their sensitivity issues.
Next are nuts, high in omega-3. Classically, these are macadamia nuts and Brazil nuts. Once again, they do carry some carbs. Occasionally I do eat some cashews, but realize that they are the highest carb nut, so I only eat half a serving. It is mostly the salt that I'm craving anyway. By the way, salt is not officially on any list, but it is not evil in keto like it is in other diets. More on that in another video. Finally, lower carb fruits. Blackberries and raspberries have the lowest amount of sugar carbs of the fruits and can be eaten in small quantities without kicking you out of ketosis, depending on your particular metabolism, of course. The challenge is to keep portions to a minimum, speaking from personal experience, of course.
Now let's talk about the foods that we should avoid like the plague on a ketogenic diet. One thing that all diets have in common is to completely cut out highly processed foods. There is nothing controversial in saying that. However, the ketogenic diet, by its very definition, would exclude major food groups that would be considered critical in the majority of Western diets. These are items that will risk knocking you out of ketosis and will ensure that your cravings are not kept in check. The first item would be all grains, and that's wheat, corn, rice, cereal, etc. It would be completely impractical, if not impossible, to consume grains on a extremely low carbohydrate diet. For example, a cup of rice has 45 grams of carbs, or the equivalent to 9 teaspoons of sugar. A half cup serving of oatmeal has 27 carbs. A 3/4 cup of corn has 27 grams of carbs.
Partially hydrogenated and unstable oils. Vegetable shortening is partially hydrogenated, processed such as it is solid at room temperature. This process turns it into a trans fat, which is universally accepted as an unhealthy choice. Oils such as corn, canola, sunflower, and vegetable are considered to be unstable oils because of the extreme heat required to extract the oils. This heating process begins the oxidation process, which creates oxidation damage to the cells of your body. This is why antioxidants are an important nutrient. As an anecdote, while these have high fat content, they are considered poor choices because their damage potentially outweighs the benefit. All breads and pastas. Breads and pastas are made from grains. Even whole grain bread is 18 grams of carbs per slice. Pasta is also difficult to eat in small enough quantities to stay within your macros.
Chips and high-carb snacks. Things like potato chips and corn chips are not only high in carbohydrates, but they are also fried in unstable oils. And we already talked about the problems that they have. Finally, it's not a surprise, all sugars and items high in sugar. So donuts, cakes, jams, jellies, not only are they high in carbohydrates, but they're also loaded in added sugars. So that is the ketogenic diet in a nutshell. Now, if you're a beginner, this may seem like a drastic change, especially if you have been experiencing the classic American diet, the high carb, low fat diet. This is a big shift, a huge metabolic shift. So we really don't recommend that you just jump into this. Your system will probably rebel. And obviously we're not saying don't do it, but there is a price to pay in your body for this. So what we're going to be doing in the near future is creating a step-by-step transition plan into a ketogenic diet. And so
in the meantime, the best first step is to cut out all the processed sugary foods completely from your diet. It's a good idea no matter what diet plan or path you choose. As you begin your journey, we hope that you will follow us and come back to this video as a simple reference. And we really hope that this information, of course, was useful to you. And share it with others. You know, if you find it useful, go ahead and hit that share button. Maybe somebody else is looking for the same kind of way to get healthier. And we also hope that you will follow our journey.
That's right. So what do we say now?
Keto Mojo Go Go out!